Welcome to my very own cabin in the woods. This property has a cabin and sits on a few acres out in the middle of nowhere. And it still doesn't feel real that this is mine. I've been searching for property for 2 years now, looked at thousands. This place was absolutely perfect. It checked all my boxes and more. Finally found a place that I can call home. The cabin's about 80% done and there's still so much work to do, but I'm really excited to put some blood, sweat, and tears into this new project and put my personal touch on this property. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm gonna give you guys the full tour and show you everything. So first, welcome to my land. I own about 3 acres on this property. I really like it because it's partially cleared and partially wooded, and there's actually a surprise behind the cabin as well that I'll show you guys in a little bit. And the best part of this property is that 3 sides of it is Corps of Engineers, so I will never have neighbors. That is protected land. My new neighbor and friend owns the other hundreds of acres that surround my property. She's given me free reign to go and explore. There's caves back in here, springs, all sorts of stuff. I can't wait to get out there and see what I can find. So this is my well that the house is currently hooked up to. So I don't have a water bill, which is really nice. But if I ever wanted to hook up to the county water, I have that option as well, which is really nice to have a couple options for water. So far, the well seems to be pretty good water. I do want to get it tested. The old owner told me that this plot of land is actually a 100-year-old homestead. There used to be a house out here years ago, and it was tore down, fell down, dilapidated, and then this property was left vacant for many years. But when he was out here building the cabin, he said a lot of locals would pull up and tell stories of their memories on this property. I guess people would come out here and play baseball, and there used to be a garden and all sorts of cool things out here. So I love that my property has a bit of history, and I'm excited to be the new steward of it. The seller bought this land and built this cabin himself, and his plan for it was for it to be a little vacation retreat. But he ended up moving out of state, and that's why he decided to sell it. And he listed this place on Facebook Marketplace, and my friend found it for me. He came out here the next day and showed me the property. This was like 2 months ago. When I tell you guys, I got this place for an absolute steal. One of the coolest parts of this cabin is that it is brand spanking new. Like I said, it's not even finished yet. The seller never even stayed a single night in here. I was the first person to stay the night in this thing. I have this wonderful front porch. It is absolutely massive. I've always dreamed of buying some of those rocking chairs that you see outside of Cracker Barrel and just sitting on my porch. It's so quiet out here. The first time I pulled up to this property and stepped out, all I could hear was nature. There is no road noise out here whatsoever. My neighbor also told me that there's a bobcat and a fox that live somewhere down here by my cabin, and then the seller sent me a video of these huge bucks just running through my yard. He also told me that there's a panther that he's seen cross the road right in front of the cabin. So there's definitely a ton of wildlife out here. I'm sure there's bears as well. One of the first things I'm gonna have to do is clean. This property sat vacant for an entire year. He left me a ton of wood because the framing inside of the house isn't finished, but I'll show you all in a minute. A cool feature about this house is that the guy who built it had his own sawmill. So when he came out here, he harvested some of the old growth hickory and oak, milled that wood, and a lot of that was used to build this house, which I think is super cool. Oh my gosh, I just noticed this huge wasp nest on my porch. I gotta do something about that. The roof is metal. The flashing up there still needs to be done. Like I mentioned, this house is about 80% done, so there's still things like that. I need to get a roofing guy out here to finish the flashing. Another thing I'm gonna have to do before this winter is seal up the bottom of my cabin. So if you guys have any suggestions or tips for sealing up the bottom of my cabin, I am all ears. I'm really just concerned with making sure my pipes don't freeze in the winter and no critters go under there to make their home. Moving around to the side of the house, as you can see, the whole house is sided with this beautiful wood. One thing I am gonna have to do is putty all the holes and get it sealed up. Some of it is done. Once summer and humid season passes, I'm gonna pressure wash all of this and then seal up my wood as well. So here is the back of the cabin. Definitely I'll have to get that sealed up. I'm gonna have to crawl under there, heat tape, and put those little foams over the pipes.
But I'm probably gonna wait till it cools down because it's hotter than a devil's you know what out here right now.
And speaking of pipes, when I bought this house, I didn't have plumbing. So that was one of the very first things that I had to do, was get a plumber out here. The seller had started the plumbing. Maybe not all be up to code, but we're out in the country, and as long as it works, I'm happy. But I do suspect that in the future, I'm probably gonna have to do some more work with the plumbing, but that's a problem for future Kelly.
One more thing before we go inside.
On the side of the house, there's this concrete pad, which I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with or what it was used for, but I have a lot of cleaning up to do. The seller built this with the wood he harvested off the property and gave this awesome picnic bench to me as a closing gift. So I definitely will be getting lots of use out of that. And then I have all this really nice wood that I need to get a tarp over before it gets completely destroyed, just setting out here. I have a lot of wood to work with for future projects. And I definitely have a lot of ideas, so that will come in handy. One of the first things I'm gonna do is get all these leaves cleaned up because there are tons of ticks on this property. Every time I come out here, I find a tick on me, and they're all living in these leaves back here, I'm sure. Okay, it's finally time to go inside. Welcome to my home. The entire cabin is about 700 square feet, which I feel like is perfect for me. Starting to the left when you walk in, this is my kitchen and living room. The kitchen is a lovely little blank slate. I'm working on getting that refrigerator and the stove, and I was thinking maybe putting some cabinets here or some floating shelves or something. My grandma's gonna give me her antique Hoosier to put my dishes and stuff, and I think I'll put that on this wall. And there's actually no closets at all in this cabin. I guess men don't think of closets when they build cabins. I don't know, but I need a closet. Anyway, as you can see, this is what I'm talking about when it's not all the way done, like the molding. This is my living room. I have no furniture. I have literally nothing. So that's why I have just some random table and chairs in here. And this coffee table, the seller also built from some wood that he harvested from the property. So I'm not sure what I'll do with that yet, but I thought that was also pretty special and really nice that he let me have that. And then I do plan eventually to probably put a window on this back wall because I don't have any windows in the back of my cabin, and I would like to see what's going on back there. The house is heated and cooled by this one little mini split here, but I'm thinking about getting a second mini split for my bedroom. This actually does a pretty good job of cooling this entire thing, but I like to sleep in an icebox, so I might just get another one. And I will say the house seems like it's very well insulated because when I come in here, even though it's like 90 something degrees outside and my air conditioner wasn't running when I left, when I came in here, it was still about 75 degrees. So that's a really good sign. Back in this room is my utility room, and I actually had the plumber install a second toilet in here. So I have 2 toilets in this cabin, which is really nice. I need to get a sink to put here and then a washer and dryer. Ooh, we're gonna be fancy. And huge selling point for me as a person who works from home, fiber internet comes out here. And when I say we are in the middle of nowhere, like I don't even have a legit address. So the fact that there's still fiber internet and it's freaky fast is so cool. And then walking to the other side of the house, this area up here is storage. I have not been up there yet because I don't have a ladder, But I think that would be nice to put a bunch of my backpacking stuff up there, get it nice and organized, and maybe build a ladder to get up there. It is nice because the cool air breezes right through that into the bedroom, which I will show you guys right now. This little entryway is cool. He made it to be kind of like a mud room. Eventually I'm gonna build like a place to hang coats and put shoes and stuff. This is my bedroom. Really huge size. Seller said he built this room to have a king size bed in it. So I'm probably gonna put like a queen size bed in here. I just have my cot and foam mattress in here for now. I really love the windows in here. And the other thing I love about this house is the super high ceilings. It just makes the place feel so much bigger. And this room is actually finished for the most part. He did frame all this out. All the molding is done. So this is kind of what it's gonna look like when I get done with the kitchen and the living room. I think it looks really nice. It is a lot of wood, so I don't know if I'm gonna paint something. I still need to seal these because I think, yeah, it's polyurethane or whatever. With some good decorations and some nice antiques, I think it'll look really nice in here. I do plan on thrifting and buying all antiques for my house. I've always loved antiques, so I've been hitting up estate sales, thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, and I found some really good stuff. So I can't wait to show you guys that in a future episode. Then when you walk in, we have my bathroom, which is a nice size. Got this vanity, pretty cool sink. And then this is a cast iron tub, which was one of my favorite parts of the house. I love my baths. And yeah, you can see good old well water staining my stuff already. All right, so you guys have seen the whole inside, and now it's time to show you the rest of the outside and that surprise behind my cabin that I was talking about earlier. There's a ton of really old growth trees here. That's a sycamore tree back there. And then I have a bunch of very old oak trees, hickory trees, all around the cabin.
I was walking my property and I just discovered a bunch of wild blackberry bushes, so this is really exciting. There are so many different wildflowers out here, and it's just nice to be completely immersed in nature and away from the city.
So not only do I live out in the woods and in BFE, I also live on a lake. And this is my own private dock behind my house. Kidding? Are we kidding? This lake is awesome. I am so excited to fish out here, paddleboard, kayak, swim. The opportunities are endless. I've always wanted to live on water. I'm just grateful. Also, like I mentioned, my neighbor owns the 100 acres around my house, including this, and she also has a trail system built out my back door up to her property, all throughout her acreage. I think she said she's got 3 to 5 miles of trail blazed through her property, and she's working on more. And I already signed up to help her finish more trails. I really just want to say a huge thank you to all my viewers. You guys have really helped to make all this possible. I've been saving my money diligently for the past 5 years for this moment, and I'm just so grateful and blessed that I was finally able to purchase something and become a homeowner and really just have a place to call my own. I feel like I've been really missing that over the past few years and yearning for that. And it feels really good to finally have a spot, and especially a spot this perfect. God is so good. I'm so excited for all the projects that are to come. And I just want to say, I don't want you guys to worry because I'm still going to be traveling in my van, camping, hiking, doing all the things we normally do on this channel. That's still a huge part of my life. Finishing this cabin is going to be a huge undertaking, but I'm excited to bring you guys along on some cabin projects. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly just appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Love y'all. I will see you on the next one. Bye.